Welcome in to episode 6 of our Let's Play Humankind series called Commonly Uncommon. We are focusing on a Commons Quarter strategy, and today is Move Up episode. We'll be moving out of the Ancient Era into the Classical Era. We will see who we are going to pick. I've already alluded to who I thought my choice was going to be. There may be some considerations to be made. We will go through that when we get to that moment in the episode. If you need to catch up on anything else that has led us up to this point, turn 41 in the Ancient Era, the link in the description below will take you to episode 1 of this series. You can catch up on all of the action so far in this game at Humankind difficulty, featuring a Commons Quarter, which I have never believed in. Maybe this game will change my mind about the value of Commons Quarters. Let's jump in. We are here, right back to our capital city of Ashur. Ashur is humming along. We have trained an entire army out of Ashur. That army is sitting here currently. We used our expansionist ability, which came in clutch. A very important expansionist ability. We were able to take over a territory without using influence, just by training an army up and claiming the territory. So we went and claimed, Burley had claimed here and here. We went and stole this territory using our expansionist ability, annexed it into our land, and that sets our borders kind of where we want them, to be honest, which is going to play into some future decisions that we have to make. So Burley has a second city, Napata. It is down very close to us. Both of our opponents have decided to play the Aksumites. That's interesting for a couple of different reasons. One, they're both merchant affinity cultures, I believe. At least the Aksumites are merchant ability. They have a merchant district. But moreover, their merchant district is their market quarter emblematic is also a religious district. Our faith currently is doing quite well because we were able to get it out early and we had a large population base to spread it to. It is not spreading very well into other people's territories, and that will only continue to happen if we don't boost our faith in some way, shape, or form. So that will play a role in thoughts that we have moving forward. Both of our neighbors going with a market quarter religious district. We can actually see that if we pull open the list of cultures. Here are the Aksumites. +2 money on tiles producing money. Not bad. Not great probably at the very beginning of the game because there's not a ton of tiles producing money. Mostly you're talking about like market quarters and things like that. It could become bigger as you go along. But moreover, the Great Obelisk is very, very nice for the Aksumites. +1 money per territory or the religion's influence. So again, it wants you to be religious. Gives you faith on each of your Great Obelisks. You get money per adjacent market quarter, and you get +1 trader slot. Plus, it also counts as a religious district. That counts as a religious district, and faith in added stat there is what is kind of concerning me about the religion race. I feel like our religion could easily get pushed off of the map, and we would not be able to choose any further tenets, making our religion basically null and void, even though we have the best entry, the best level 2 or whatever, level 1 tenet. Our first tenet here that we chose, abstain from intoxicants, is the best, arguably, tenet in the game, and we want this tenet on our religion. But if we don't get the rest of the tenets for the religion, then the religion with just abstain will not be sustainable. We could keep it and we could keep abstain despite the fact that our religion may not exist on the map anymore. You could do that. But the rest of the benefits we would not get, and so eventually another religion would make more sense to take over another religion. So we don't want to lose religious control of our tenets. We want our religion to spread. Because we have taken abstain from intoxicants and we have the best opening tenet, we want that religion to stay, basically. So that's something to consider as we're thinking about move-ups and different things like that. We are also in a friendly relationship with both Burley, even though we annexed one of his territories, and Plosif is in a reverential relationship with us. And in fact, we are in an alliance with Plosive. This was not something I expected. I thought that there would be aggression. I thought that there would be pressure and war and different things would go down. Our expansionist ability, I think, saved us from that. I think we would probably be at the cusp of war with Burley right now if we didn't have the expansionist ability, because we would have had to have burned down his outpost and then reclaimed that. Instead, we get to use the expansionist ability to annex it in. He can't really do much about that, and he is still in a friendly status with us. If we look back here over at Burley, he's still at friendly. We do have war support, so that's something to keep in mind as well. And we actually do have, if we go, I can't remember where I went to see. We had some level of, leverage right here. We have leverage with Burley as well, so we have some leverage that we've accrued. So the potential for war, we could be successful if we wanted to be in fighting Burley, probably. But he's friendly with us. We're trading with him. It seems like it would be relatively risky, potentially, to go through and do something like that. So I'm intrigued by how we're going to kind of handle this. And all of those things will play into our decision, because today we have to choose who we're going to play in the Classic era when we move out of the Ancient. Our last bits of plans, right, we are moving in this here direction with these units. We're going to claim this territory, put down one final Danu. So we're going to claim the territory, put down a Danu, and then once that Danu is in, we will move up. While we are doing that, we will be attempting to collect this final Aesthete Star. I believe we can get there in 3 turns, if my math is correct. So we should be able to collect this final Aesthete Star on our way there too. Will we get another Diplomat Star? Maybe. If we get another Diplomat Star, great. But we have plenty of stars, but this last Aesthete Star, that's 300. 300 fame is really difficult to leave on the table when you could get there in 3 turns, so it feels like it's a very good spot to be in. Another thing to consider as we're looking at our move up is that we currently have a pretty substantial fame lead. We have over just under a 1,000 fame lead on second place, and in fact, a pretty substantial fame lead on both of our friends here on our continent in Burley and Plosive, who are both already moved up, so they're not going to get any of the fame left in this era, and they're moved because they're moved up already, and they don't even have any stars in the next era yet, putting me pretty substantially ahead of them right off the get-go. So we're kind of doing very, very well. Part of that is because the spawn ended up being very good, and we ended up with a ton of mammoths to fight, which I cannot underestimate. This game has become predicated on the fact that we had mammoths to fight in the Neolithic era, and it catapulted our influence way, way, way high. And then we were able to do all kinds of awesome stuff with that influence to get our game started in the right direction. So those are the things we're thinking about right now as we move through. We have 6 turns left on our Hanging Gardens of Babylon. The next thing we spend our fame on is our influence on is going to be the territory claim and the Danu. And then I'm hoping the city. I'd love to just put the city in right away as well. I think it costs like 500 something. We can get there relatively quickly. So we'll get our 3rd city down here in the Victoria Falls territory, and then start expanding into this northern area as well as we're kind of, going about our claims on our own territory. We're going to need 1 further city. I've been hoping that the Free Peoples would put down a city. Come to find out, and I honestly, I think I knew this, but I was just kind of going through the motions of doing things, and actually we're doing it right now. So we could actually stop doing what we're doing and not do this, but I think I'm just going to keep doing it. When you see an encampment or a redoubt, those are actually the spawn points for the Free Peoples. So this is a peaceful encampment. So all encampments are peaceful. All redoubts are aggressive Free Peoples that spawned there. So they spawn out of the encampment. The encampment appears, and immediately a unit spawns out of that. The initial army for the Free Peoples spawns out of that. If you burn the encampment down, which is what we are doing, that Free Peoples immediately goes into decline. And they will not put an outpost claim in, and they will not build a city because they will be in decline, and in fact will disappear off the map after a certain number of turns. That is what happened actually 2 times, I believe, already in this game. If you go back through the episodes, we had one we did down here, and we had another one I believe that we did up in this region as well. I ran across an encampment and burned it down. Not thinking that that was tied to the existence of that Free Peoples, but the Free Peoples are actually tied to the existence of that encampment. If the encampment goes, they go into decline and they will not make an outpost claim. So remember, in your games of Humankind, the way that it works is the encampment or redoubt, if it's aggressive Free Peoples, spawns. That spawns with the units, the initial army of that Free Peoples. That Free Peoples then moves away from that encampment. They go to a different territory and they explore the land a little bit to make a claim and put an outpost down. That outpost then does what every outpost does and eventually reaches the ability to be a city. And when that city status is reached and that outpost is in, they will make their Free People's city, and then the Free People's is actually available for you to interact with and things like that. But if you interrupt that process at any place in that sequence and burn down this encampment, then you put that Free People's into decline and they will not trigger the rest of their moves. They will not, they'll still wander the map for a few turns before they go away, but you put them into decline and then they're gone. So I was literally just skipping over that in my mind, and I was just burning all these encampments down, despite the fact that I was intentionally saying I'm waiting for the Free Peoples to put in their claim. I was actually stopping that process from happening, specifically with all of these encampments that we've been finding. So if I wanted this Free Peoples to stick around, I could leave this encampment here. I think I'm just going to burn it down again. I don't know where the Free Peoples actually went from this encampment. There is aggressive Free Peoples over here. So there's a redoubt somewhere in this vicinity. I'm actually more inclined to let the aggressive Free Peoples put a city down that we can then attack, because they're going to have more units for us to destroy, which will get us more stars eventually. At least my assumption is that aggressive Free Peoples typically will spawn more units than a peaceful Free People. So I'm interested in maybe seeing if that redoubt will stay, and then we could get an aggressive Free Peoples to spawn up here that we could go to war with, essentially. And that would be kind of our move here in the next era. That will be predicated on some decisions we make about who we're moving up to as well. Because I think that all of this is playing into an eventuality that I did not predict was going to happen about what our culture choice is going to be in the classical era. So that's kind of where we stand. I'm still going to burn that encampment down because, again, I just don't remember where those Free Peoples went. And I would prefer so if we're putting a city here, I'd prefer to have our city somewhere up in the top corner here. I guess I don't mind if it's over here somewhere. I'd like it to be further over, though. Just to give us some space. I don't know. Maybe I don't care. You know, the thing is, I don't want to crowd Plosif's land necessarily, unless I have to. I don't mind something in here. I don't want to get too close to it, though. I want to give him space to expand, because I don't want to end up in some sort of aggressive position right now, based on kind of the way the game is going. And I don't know where the New World is yet, but I feel like our continent is pretty huge. So if I can just claim up a decent chunk, if I can get 4 solid cities on this continent, that's plenty on this continent. If I need more, we can always do a later war to get it, and then see what happens on the New World. If we can grab a couple more cities on the New World, then we're kind of off and running and we're good to go, right? But I'm thinking that 4 cities will do it for us here. I haven't actually run the math on how many territories that would mean for each city. It probably actually means quite a few. We could probably even squeeze a 5th city in here. So we'll find out. We'll find out as we go. Let's hit that next turn button and progress towards our move up condition. Carolins to Axumites. 3 move ups into the classical era, and all 3 AI have taken the Axumites. Is there some bend towards the Axumites being taken? That is very interesting. That is very interesting. 3 Axumites. They are a merchant affinity. Man, it's gonna get, the religion is gonna get real interesting. Religion is gonna get real interesting at this point, right? All right, this is the guy that's going this way, so we'll move him in that direction. And these guys are trying to avoid, the aggressive Free Peoples were in, oh, well, actually, there's the aggressive Free Peoples right there. So that kind of gives us an idea of what's going on there. Let's keep these guys, like, coast side. There's a lair. We're gonna run into more bears. There are more bears down here somewhere? There have been so many bears in this game. Well, these guys are on their spot, right? These guys are where we need them to be to put their claim in. So we're not going to do that. We are going to have to retreat this fight, because obviously we're not going to fight this. Here's the aggression. 3 chariots. That's like instant. That's instant death for scouts. They're also this army is hugely damaged, right? So we're gonna retreat and pray that we can outpace them out here. Otherwise, we're literally gonna lose 3 highly veteran units to this Free Peoples, which would suck. Okay, they're running in the right direction. The question is, can the chariots chase? And sometimes chariots have enough movement to be able to chase, and it sucks when that happens. This deer is now causing us a possible problem, because he's actually blocking one of our exit points, and we actually have to go back towards the Free Peoples, possibly. And we can't get very far away because of this river and the movement that has afforded this. Fascinating. Okay. Well, I'm gonna go with this movement here and try to get these guys into this territory. The other thing we could do is if those Free Peoples attack, we could reinforce with this army. I still think that's death for all 5 of those units, or 6 of them. I don't think 6 units can take on 3 chariots. It just doesn't feel, especially not when they're this damaged. It just doesn't feel possible. Okay. Let us jump to our other units. This guy has some veterancy, which is why he's still hanging out. He's the guy that was just coming out of Burley's land. We do have another aggressive Free Peoples here, but we don't have to worry about this aggressive Free Peoples at all. Eventually, we might want to go to war with them just to get, stuff from them, but I don't need to go to war with them necessarily. Let's keep this guy moving. This guy needs to just get... Actually, you know what we need to prep this guy for? We're about to move up. And when we move up, we're going to have a lot of science. And when we move up, we can get to naval transport pretty quickly. In fact, 4 turns, it looks like, is what we can get to it. So we actually kind of want to start positioning a couple of units at the edge of the water here-ish, maybe, to see what's this way. I don't see a lot of connection points so far. It looks like our best bet is going to be like over here somewhere, as far as getting off of our continent. We might be stuck for a little bit, depending on how far away some of the stuff is. So actually, we just moved this guy in further. I think I'm going to move this guy back out. We want a unit or 2 maybe on this coast, and then maybe another unit or 2 over here. So these guys are pretty damaged. I'd like to repair them, but they might even just stay up here. We might even keep them up here so they can poke their heads out over here and then try to make a play towards whatever the next continent is in that space. Here's our army. They are currently just standing still, I believe. This army is just kind of sitting right now. We're just kind of letting him hang. This pair could probably put this claim in. That's probably why they're here, is because they can make this claim at some point. So we probably want to leave them here to be able to make this claim, because they're in a territory that we want. It has a strategic resource. We're basically setting our border at the resources, right? So we claimed this resource. We're going to claim this. Actually, sorry, no, this territory does not have a resource. We don't have to have this territory. Kind of makes sense to take it. We do want this territory and then this territory, right? These 2 right here. But that kind of sets the borderline, basically. There is a lot of land possibly to explore up here. So I'm kind of partial to maybe just trying to grab more curiosities with these guys. Okay, we have multiple fights going on now. I believe this is a bear battle. I think we'll just manually fight this, because we could take like some high ground, maybe. Technically, that's not a great position, actually. Over here. I think we actually did worse than the auto resolve, but that's fine. We get both of our units will get some attacks in, so we'll get that little bit of veterancy on both of them. So another bear fight down, and now we have another set of damaged units, right? Which is intense. I think we need...
To what do I owe this pleasure?
I would love to just propose an alliance here. He's friendly. I bet we could just propose an alliance.
We would all benefit from growing closer, don't you think?
No alliance.
The proposal is sloppy. My answer is no.
Interesting. We can purchase more horses. We don't have to have that right now, so we won't do that. We are in an alliance already here. 3 turns to go on that. No grievances. So, feels good on that. We have more war support now against Burley. All of this is playing into possible decision-making for future moments in this game, upcoming in this episode. Okay, so I think we're ready to end turn. Again, oh, wait, did we get our claimant over here? What did we do with these guys? These guys ran out of movement, but now we want to figure out where our claim goes. That is a 1022 on a 1, 2, 3, 4 river tile with some pretty decent escapes out to build a bunch of great districts. So that's really nice. That's a really nice 1022. Up here, we have access to, yeah, not that. 1022 is insane. I guess when I was going up here, I think I was thinking more 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 river. It's more river access and good escape points, but I didn't consider the fact that there's a huge forest down here, and that is definitely where we want to be. So the 1022 that's huge. The huge outpost. I mean, that's a massively good city with great escape points for some of the districts we want to place. That'll be very nice. Okay, we're just going to have them do that next turn. That will establish very quickly because it has super high industry, so we'll be able to get the outpost down, and then the Danu in very quickly. We'll slap the horses in, and then we'll be able to transfer that into a city in the next couple turns. But probably we'll move up before then. Okay, let's end turn. Just have them do their thing. I want those guys moving right away. There's the Estate Star. We actually got it in... Did we get it in 2 turns? Ah, they found us anyway, so... Oh, no. And we're just outside of reinforcing that fight. Wow. That's going to be 3 units. That's going to be 3 units dead because we could not get far enough away from those chariots. We'll think about their fate later. That's very painful. I don't love it. I don't love it. What's going on over here? Nothing. That's... I don't think I can save any of those units. I think we're going to lose 3 highly veteran units to the Free Peoples. We haven't had Free Peoples trouble so far in this game. The game has been very kind in that way, so... but man, that is frustrating. And now I'm like debating, do I even bother sending units up here to continue exploring? Because if I can't deal with this Free Peoples... then we're just going to end up losing fights over and over, specifically because they're chariots and they can chase down my units. So I think these guys actually now become water. We're going to get them in the water probably. Like, that's just what's going to happen with a lot of these different units. We got to keep somebody here, though, right? We got to keep somebody here. Maybe these guys stay because they're full health and we just keep them... We keep them as far away as we can from that fight. And then these guys can go get some health back after their bear fight and then jump into the water when we get there. I think that's probably the play. This boat we made a wrong move with last time. We moved him in the wrong direction, so now we're headed back in the right direction. And, ooh, is this coastal? That's ocean. I don't think we can make it over there. I think this boat is stuck. No? Wait. How do we have that much movement? We have exactly what it takes to get across. That's nice. Okay, so I guess we just make that move. We hope that there's nothing... Oh, there's fog here. Can we still make this move? It says we still make it. Okay. Nice. Cool. As long as there's nothing here that we didn't see. We can always just go backwards, right? So... Okay, we burnt this down. That was the lair, and we're kind of just sitting in this area, right? We can explore a little bit more, right? We don't want to... There's possibility for that exactly, right? Curiosities to pop up, so we definitely want... Okay, there's this... What is this guy doing? There's stuff to gather. Why are you over here? Come back down here. That's a 3 turns to get that? Man, that's a bummer. Because that would have been nice to have. All right, here's our single guy that we're actually going to maneuver back to the water, I think. I think we're going to take this guy back to the water. He'll be our exploratory guy on this side of the map. This army is still going to sit right here. Well, actually, you know what? We're at friendly relationships over here. I kind of wonder... We can always train up a second army here, and this army is very far away from the aggression we're experiencing from these Free Peoples. I think it would probably be good of us to get these guys possibly involved in the fights with the Free Peoples, if only to get them some veterancy as well. I think that would be valuable. Swamp fever! Uh-oh. Do we attempt to understand swamp fever? We can honor them. This is not really what I want to do. We can study it, but man, it costs a lot of money. We can ignore it, but I don't like the possibilities of that. Are we spending 500 to push science and trigger another narrative event? I honestly, we have the money. I don't love spending it on this, but I'm pretty sure we lose a bunch of population if we go this direction. It does move us the right way on the axes, towards liberty. We like that, but it's too tempting to go the more sciencey route. All right, we're gonna do it. All right, this is a debacle. This is an instant loss. There's no way I can save any of these units. Oh man, that's such a bummer. RIP to these guys. They've done such a good job. They fought so many bears that they're so low health. The thing is, if they were a little bit higher health, we could have tried like reinforcing into the fight, but these guys are gonna die first turn. They're gonna get attacked first turn, and this is just over. It's just over for them. There's literally no hope, I don't think. I mean, we could stick we'll stick the best unit up here on high ground just to see if he could, if they don't find him, maybe, like if he's hidden somehow. I don't even know. I don't even think that's a possibility. Like, he's not hidden anywhere. We just like try to spread them out so that maybe, nah, they're all gonna die. That guy, oh, is this guy? No. Yeah, this guy is hidden. Is this guy not hidden in this forest? He is. We could technically hide this guy. We could hide these two, leave this guy over here. Maybe he sacrifices himself, and then these guys, if they touch by flag, maybe we can keep these guys alive. No. Immediately they go into the adjacent spot. So this guy's actually alive still, and may stay alive. And... oh, wait! Ah. Three dead. And an aggressive Free People's sitting at our doorstep when we're about to put down a city. This is not pretty. So I'm glad we got our army moving, because if they keep coming down, which they likely will at this point, man, that's a bummer. That is a bummer. All right, well, we're waiting on... this is down one turn, so we get our Danu next turn. So I think we can move up next turn, which means we also will be looking at, can we get some more diplomat stars? We might be able to. Let's see, how much do we need? We need another 45? 45.
Speak. I find you.
We get 30? If we renounce all of these, I don't think we have any with plosive, though. Oh.
How do you do?
Okay. So we can't quite get those, so we might as well... I mean, we might as well not do all of them anyway, because we can't get the star. But we will end turn, and then the next turn will be our move up, I believe. Our Camp Prior is down. Keep our units moving. That is highly unfortunate. Wait. That's a peaceful Free People. And another peaceful Free People. All of my encampment burning down appears to have now done nothing, unless there's that many Free Peoples that spawned up here. So now we have 2 claims, and then a third coming through on the same turn. So, literally a turn after I tell you, despite the fact that we were about to get attacked, that we have had no Free People's trouble, the Free People's trouble spawns in. Now, this is great news for us as far as, look, these are aggressive Free Peoples. Both the aggressive Free Peoples have spawned in between my opponents. We have peaceful Free People spawning over here, but here's the major problem. We're about to make this a city. It will be directly adjacent to one of these. Like, this one we have to probably just get rid of. This one we could take and then make it kind of our northern city. I do not love the location. Let's go scout this one out. What do they got? Yeah, they've got a decent army here. We could expansionist them if they leave their territory, but they're just gonna come back and defend it, probably, right? we'll keep an eye on it in case they move, I guess. I don't like that one. That one is not happy for me. Right, these guys are going and hanging out. This boat is going south, right? This is our south boat. We'll have to take a stop over. We should be able to get all the way around. Okay, here's an escape point for us. So we actually might go this way with the boat. And then this army of this army of two will make their way in this direction. Because we'll want to pop them off over here and see if we can get somewhere from that. Because that's the only spot we currently know that is viable for what we're trying to do.
I'm on it.
This high ground should give us a decent view. And then, again, I don't know where there is that aggressive Free Peoples.
Over here. Yes, sir.
That just attacked us. And I don't... Unless that aggressive Free Peoples is somehow attached to these guys, which I sincerely doubt, then there is probably a third Free People's claim that's about to come in on this side of the continent, which is a bit wild. All right, let's get our Danu in. At this point, we almost want our Danu somewhere next to this. We could also put it, like, here, because then we can really surround it really well. Also, it's, like, directly adjacent to the falls. Oh, the falls have an audio? Yeah. Gorgeous. You could also put it, like, up here and then use it to attack the city, which would be beneficial. We can't get a lot of districts around it in that case. It kind of is a bummer. I like it in the middle of this plains right here. It's kind of a nice spot. It definitely creates a nice build pattern that gets us extended even further. And it still leaves you with a decent hamlet, like somewhere up in this area. Take advantage of that spot. I like this spot right here. We'll put that in. We'll put in the horses. And we'll put in... Oh, there's another luxury here? What's the... Oh, there's salt here. Oh. Yes, please. Okay, now we have to save up for, what, 2 turns? In 2 turns, we can make this a city. So I guess the question is, we don't have to make it a city. We could leave it and just use these 2 as our cities. That's really tempting, actually. Then we could spend our influence in other ways entirely if we so chose to go to war with these 2 Free Peoples and just take these as our 2 cities. This city becomes the city that attaches here, and this city becomes the city that attaches here. Then we don't actually have to put our own city in. Huh. And it frees up our influence to just make territory claims and other things. And maybe an extra wonder claim. That's probably the better way to play this. Now, it's going to take us longer to get our city. And I want this city first, right? Like, we'd want to make this claim first. Where's our army is moving, right? How fast can we get our army there? And would this army be able to make a difference? We have a 3 stack of troops to reinforce. The question will be is how much... how many units is that Free People's going to end up spawning, right? Let's get this army on the way. We'll probably need a second army to make this clean. When is the horseman upgrade? It's not till the next era, right? No. Mounted warfare is actually pretty early. If we go quickly to mounted warfare, we could upgrade our units, our scouts, into horsemen, and all of a sudden we will have a very, very potent army. Now, here's the problem. They already have swordsmen, right? Like, they already outclass us because people have been moving up. So they have swordsmen in their army, which are already better than our warriors. So we have to level our army up regardless when we get into our territory, right? So we're going to need to level up our army before we make an attempt here because they have the better units already. But if we can up our units to horsemen, horsemen will do well against those swordsmen. That would be actually really interesting. Okay. Fascinating. All right, I think this guy's literally just going to sit over here, right? Burley has made a claim, claiming this territory here. So Burley continuing his expansion in this direction. And the city has been placed. We have Burley and Plosif. Plosif obviously wanted a spot on this coast, which I don't know if the computer knows something I don't know, but maybe the free is the new world on that side. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. All right, these guys are literally just watching this, right? We're just like observing what's happening here. So we'll just skip for a moment. So on fever 4. Mercifully, we were able to cure malaria, or at least slow its spread dramatically, and now we have plus 15 science for 10 turns, which is something we don't want to burn. We are currently burning science, and so if we end turn again, then we will be full burning that extra 15 science for 10 turns, which we don't want to do. That's going to be excellent. Excellent. Going into the next era. So, now we have our decision-making point. Number 1, let's see where we're at in diplomacy. We still need the 45, and we're not... This guy gets there on the next turn, and so that... I mean, that's not good. It would probably make a difference. I don't want to burn any more science, and I think we need to move up. That star is... What is it worth? 200? I mean, it's a pretty substantial amount. If we look at what we could get for... We're going to do these right away anyway, right?
It
so
would
these get done anyway.
Indiscretion.
So there, we could get 30. We still get 30 of the 45 we need.
No.
And we don't have any here to get,
yes,
so we can't
greetings.
actually get anything. So.
I hope you don't mind if I stare.
We'll just leave. We'll just leave that star on the table. It's not a big deal. I'm not horribly affected by that. We do have to start thinking about what the heck is Burley doing down here, right? So Burley's second army has now joined with his first. They're a potent force here in Napata. So remember, we just sent our army out to deal with Free Peoples, and now Burley is amassing a force very near to us, which is, again, something I want to keep in mind. He's got 2 Free Peoples possibly to deal with up here. I don't know. He could become aggressive, though. Again, right now, we're friendly. It's not a big deal. We also have a ton of war support on him, so I'm not really worried about losing a war to Burley at this point in time. But he also has a lot of military units sitting right at my border, which could become problematic. He's got other things to deal with, I feel like, so I'm not, like, incredibly concerned by that. But I want to go into our culture choice, because I was going to do a thing. My whole plan was take the Romans and then try to cheese the Triumphal Arch into, like, a ridiculous strategy. Now, here's the thing. I did a lot of reading on the Triumphal Arch, and I can't actually tell if the plus 50 fame on Constructible on Victorious City, I can't actually tell how that specifically works. My inclination would be that every time you build a Triumphal Arch in a city that is labeled a Victorious City, and the way you get a Victorious City is by, you get it for 10 turns, on standard speed, I think. You get it for 10 turns on all of your cities after you win a war. So if you win a war, which would have to be against an AI, can't be against the Free Peoples, right? It has to be a war win. You have to win a war. For 10 turns, you get Victorious City status on your cities, which I think gets you like plus 10 stability. It's not something amazing. It gets you plus 10 stability on your cities for 10 turns, but it gives you the title on your cities, the status effect of Victorious City. This text says you get 50 fame on Constructible on a Victorious City. So my thought was you could cheese this really hard by placing a bunch of Triumphal Arches, getting them all to 1 turn, right? Get them all to 1 turn builds, and then pull them out of your queue. Leave them in the queue. Sorry, not pull them out of the queue. Leave them in the queue, but build other things before them. Leave them sitting there at 1 turn. Win a war, and then finish all of your Triumphal Arches for 50 fame. If you look at how many territories we currently have, and what we probably would have by the time we executed this, I estimated about 15. Now, you'd have to have all of those attached in order to do this. So let's dumb it down. I'm actually going to pull out a calculator here. I probably don't need it for what the calculation I'm going to do. Let's dumb it down to 10. I mean, that's 500 fame. I don't need a calculator for that. That's 500 fame. 500 fame is a ridiculous amount of fame on building a Constructible. When you think about it, you get 100 fame for building a Wonder. If you could get 500 fame for putting Triumphal Arches down in all of your territories, all within the span of 10 turns, or even probably more like 5 turns. That's insane. You could act, and I was actually thinking, I'm not going to do this, but I was actually thinking about, you could take this strategy to the nth degree, and you could actually just transcend as the Romans every single time. And then every territory you have, every territory you claim, if you do it right, would be worth 50 fame. So you could stack that. So imagine you expand throughout the entire globe and you consistently transcend as the Romans. And every time you're about to build a triumphal arch, you make sure that you've just won a war. Now that takes quite a bit of work, but you could definitely pull it off. And then you build, every time you've won a war, you go through and build another slurry of, right, they're all one turned or whatever, so you just one turn them all in. And then all of a sudden, you're getting 50 fame per territory because you're putting in triumphal arches. I'm relatively sure you might, because you're also going to be transcending every time, you might be able to like transcend the Romans into like the highest possible fame score that you could ever see. I honestly think that might be true. Somebody could do the math on like how many territories you might be able to take and put down that many triumphal arches. That could be an unbeatable strategy if it works that way, because you'd end up with, essentially, if you did it all right, 50 fame per territory. No one will be able to compete with that. Nobody. That's an insane amount of fame. Now, here's my question. And I don't even think we're going to get to find out the answer to it, to be honest. So maybe somebody could comment in the comments below if you've done this, or test it and let me know. I am almost certain that because that seems like a completely ridiculous amount of fame, that plus 50 fame on Constructible on Victorious City maybe only is allowed to take place once per city. So I'm wondering if it's really only worth probably at most like 150 fame, which is nothing to scoff at. It's nothing to scoff at. It's still a decent amount of fame, but it's not like a ridiculous amount of fame. It's not worth like building a strategy around getting 150 extra fame. Like, you could just build an extra wonder and you're basically competing at that point, right? So it's a lot. It'd be a lot to commit to playing the Romans, going to war, making sure you time everything correctly just to get 150 extra fame. If you were getting 500 plus extra fame, absolutely a strategy you probably want to build around. But my thought is that perhaps it only counts once per city. Again, I actually have no clue whether that's true or not, but it is impacting my decision here, amongst other things. So let's take a look at the Romans, because we have one other option. The Romans are an expansionist. Could be very nice. The expansionist ability has come in clutch for us already, and we could actually use it against these free peoples as well, I think, if you could use it against free peoples. But I think you can. That would be nice. We could actually do something like that, right? The expansionist ability is useful. It's not as useful as others, but it is useful. This is not awesome unless you're going to play a pretty solid war game. +1 unit slot on each army. I mean, that does give you an immediate advantage because you get an extra unit into those fights despite reinforcements. And the 50% experience gain is great only if you're going to continue to go to war with those units and really build up the strength of your armies. The Praetorian Guards are definitely good. I believe you get access to them very early in the tree. You only need 5 iron to be able to put these together. And they are definitely a superior unit to the swordsmen that are available in this era, right? Plus you get that tactical superiority listed there, which is a bonus if you're adjacent to the other, if there's an allied unit adjacent to the unit you're attacking, which you're probably almost always going to try for. So the Praetorian Guards are pretty good. Now, the Triumphal Arch used to be among the worst emblematic districts in the game until they made the change with the 50 fame on Constructible. Again, I do not know exactly how that functions, and I'm really strongly hoping that someone can comment down below in the comments and actually let me know like how that actually works. Could I actually get 50 fame on every territory if you played it right? Or is this a scenario where you would only end up with like 1 per city or something like that? I just don't know how it works. Otherwise, it's pretty so-so. I mean, 5 influence, sure. 5 stability, great. It's already a common scorer. It doesn't particularly matter. So, I mean, it's fine. It's the 50 fame is what makes this worth it. Even in the least bit, is what makes it worth it. But I don't like anything else particularly about the Romans. Now, our other option is the Goths. And the Goths are an intriguing choice coming out of the Assyrians. Why? We already have our Assyrian raiders. We now could get access to they're like light cav, I think. We now could get access to a heavy cav unit very early in the game. Again, maybe we should have built the stable of Pyramses if we're going in this direction. Maybe we still could. But we would keep the trend going towards having very powerful cavalry units. You also get this nimble pillage plus 10% ransack bony gained as science per units on an army. So all of our ransacks all of a sudden, which are good already because the Assyrians want to ransack for extra money and attack strength. Now our ransacks are also worth science. So ransacking becomes a very viable strategy here if you move in with Goths. And plus 2 influence on garrisons. We have Danus in every single one of our territories, which count as garrisons. We would get a not big, but we would get a nice influence bonus right away by picking the Goths because we have those Danus down, which count as both common quarters and as garrisons. So there's plus 2 influence on every one of those districts right off the bat. So the Goths are a very intriguing choice. And of course, they're a choice because they have the Tumulus, which is the only other commons quarter district available in the classical era here. So you're either picking the Romans if you're doing a commons quarter strategy, which we are. You're either picking the Romans for the Triumphal Arch or the Goths for the Tumulus. Now, here's where we get some added bonus possibly in this game as playing the Huns. Plus 3 influence, so it's not the plus 5 that the Triumphal Arch gets, but it's still plus 3. And we're already getting that. We're making up for that by getting the plus 2 on every territory. So it's essentially equal, right? Every territory has a Danu, so every territory is going to get plus 5 influence that we put a Tumulus in, basically. And we're going to get the plus 2 right away, and then the plus 3 when we build the Tumulus. And it is a religious district that produces faith. I was just discussing at the beginning of the episode how our faith is in probably substantial trouble because we have double Axumites sitting in our land. Also, remember, Plosif has claimed Stonehenge, which is a religious, which is a holy site wonder. So his religion is going to expand very rapidly. We very much risk losing control of our religion if we do not pick a religious district to put down and start pumping faith out of some of our territories at a higher rate. Because if we pick a non-religious district here, there is almost no way outside of a couple of civics that we are going to be able to push our religion beyond what we have now. And like I said, we don't want that to happen because we want to have a good religion. We have the best early game tenet, and we want to get other tenets that will do what we want it to do for our empire and keep our religion alive. If we don't, we'll end up having to adopt some other religion's empire's religion that is not as good. And so I really like this play, actually. We also get plus 5% ransack gains on army. I mean, there's a lot of synergy between the Assyrians and the Goths. I am very, very tempted to play the Romans to test the strategy of the 50 fame. If we were about to go to war, for example, if Burleigh was not friendly with us and was instead aggressive with us, and we were about to try to have a war, I would pick the Romans here, I think, because I think I would want those Praetorians, and I would also have the ability to get a victorious city right away. If we were to pick the Romans now, we would literally have to pick a fight with Burleigh, even though he is friendly towards us, in order to get a war started, in order to get the victorious on city. I don't like being a warmonger. In fact, I prefer to avoid war, and I like the way this game is going in a war kind of avoidance way. Are we going to get to ransack as much as we want? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not particularly sure. We'll be ransacking free peoples. That's what we're going to go do, right? We're going to go and ransack free peoples, potentially. That's how we're going to exercise our abilities. So I am going to choose the Goths here. My other conundrum is, right, the militarist ability is not great. We probably won't use the militarist ability, although we could. Maybe it comes in handy because something weird goes down Burley declares war on us or something like that, right? And we're able to utilize this to be able to defend our cities a little bit and get another army out quickly. It also makes military stars worth more, so it guarantees that we need to go fight Free Peoples. However, now that we know that there are 2 Free Peoples we actually want to go fight and take their cities, this means we're gonna get some stars on this regard anyway, right? Because we're gonna go ahead and fight those. So I think we're gonna pick the Goths. Here's another reason. I've played the Romans before, and I haven't played the Goths. So I think I'm gonna play the Goths. I'm intrigued by them, and I think that they pair very well with the Assyrians. And I think this is the turn to do it. So let's go ahead and jump in, and we will pick the Goths.
As urban centers grow, both ideas and sewage are generated at a record pace. Arts and sciences flourish as military tactics and mathematical equations become as coveted as physical goods. Empires struggle to control these intangibles, however, as some might trouble their stability. It's not really a question of intangibles with the Goths. There were a lot of tribes and a lot of travel.
All right. So we enter the era as the Goths. Again, funnily enough, a militarist culture, which is, you know, I don't typically play a lot of militarist cultures, so we'll see what happens. Unknown, which I believe that symbol means Gaiden. Gaiden has reached the classical era from the Mycenaeans to the Huns. So Gaiden going super aggressive. Mycenaeans with their Cyclopean fortresses into Huns on the other continent. Yikes. Watch out for Gaiden's also doing quite well. He's in 2nd place. So there is a potent move for Gaiden over on the other continent. I do not want to be over there. Whatever you do, I don't want to be there. That is for certain. Oy. Okay, get our armies moving. What's going on over here? This is aggressive Free Peoples. I don't know where this aggressive Free Peoples went. Maybe we burnt down, I don't know if we burnt down theirs too. I can't remember.
What do you say to this appealing proposal?
Burley wants open borders. I mean, technically it doesn't matter. If he goes down and claims this, that would be like the weirdest thing ever. Although I've seen the AI do stuff like this. I'm gonna counter. Let's counter.
I cannot accept this as is, but a modest contribution might change my mind.
Let's get rid of these at 2 turns.
No, it's not worth worrying about.
Okay. Oh, and then a claim coming out from... Man, Plosive sees all this land, but sees the Free Peoples and is like, I think I'll go this way. Towards the aggressive Free Peoples and towards Burley. Amazing decision-making. Look, this is turned into just a fascinating thing to watch up here in the northern part of our continent. Plosive making claims now towards the aggressive Free Peoples and towards Burley, effectively cutting off Burley's ability to claim more territories, and then making a claim and putting a city in down here after Burley forward settled me. Amazing stuff. Amazing.
We've been going nowhere.
Science
Shall
exchange?
we press forward?
Yes.
You are
100%.
as just as you are wise.
Eventually we'll
Let's
want this
make it
customs
so.
union. In fact, I guess we could take this customs union now.
This is
Let's do this
unexpected.
too. Nice.
I have a proposition for you.
We're in a great place
think
with
you'll like
Plosive.
it.
This is so surprising to me. This is so surprising to me. Plosive and I being friends in a game is astronomically strange in my mind. All right, we're bringing these guys over. They're actually more so coming over now, right, for other purposes. Are we going north first? If we go north first, we might run into... I think we want to come down from the top anyway, right, when we run this attack, rather than coming through here. This one takes 4 turns. That one takes 5 to get there. It's going to take 5 to get there anyway, right? So I think we should move, yeah, in this direction. Let's go this way. I'm going to move them one by one, just in case we run into that Free Peoples and we need to make some sort of maneuver towards them. So we're kind of playing around with that. Again, another claim here. I don't know where that aggressive Free Peoples went. I mean, that's a big kind of question right now, right? Where did that aggressive Free Peoples go? Were they, in fact, tied to these guys up here? I just don't see how that's possible, but would be wrong, you know? All right, send this guy over here. We'll see what kind of space we have. This guy's made his way across and will continue to just kind of float. Haven't seen any curiosities yet in the water. We are in the classical now, so we're looking for those curiosities to be in the water. And I have not seen any yet, so we're kind of waiting for that. This unit, I guess we send them down here for one last exploration of this territory for curiosities, and then we'll pop them into the water over here and get them off and on their way. This unit is basically going to do the same thing, right? We want to get them up to here to see if we can make a crossing somewhere in the north, which looks like is our only possible option there. So we'll pop in here and explore for some curiosities and then head to the north. These guys are trespassing now. Oh, because that was claimed and incorporated very quickly. And we don't have open borders, right, currently. So we need to get him out of there and into Plosif's land where we have an alliance. And that will be kind of our... Can't get him in the water yet. So we'll just stick him right here and just have him hold. These guys... Oh! Now you really wish... Now you really wish that you had the expansionist ability. Because they have left... They have left their spot. I am still actually pretty convinced. So we could go try to burn this down right now. Now, logistically, they'd probably just come and try to defend it. So I'm not going to burn it down. Because I do think I actually want this city. I think I want this to be a city. I think I want this to be a city. And I think we take them both by force. In order to get militarist stars and to enact some of our pillaging, right? Like we want, maybe we ransack a few tiles as we're doing it just to gain like bonuses from our people. So these guys are still just going to sit here. Just going to wait. And for research, I want to get out on the water as quickly as possible. We're already at a disadvantage because somebody could be on the New World already. So I think we go trade expeditions first. But I honestly think that we go mounted warfare next to get access to our Gothic cavalry and to be able to upgrade our scouts to horsemen. There's lots of great things, a ton of really great things. Hydrology is huge. Philosophy is huge to be able to get both of those. But I do think that we're going to go trade expeditions to mounted warfare. Then we'll come back around. So that's going to be our research path probably. Okay. I don't think we did like, what, 4 turns right there? I think we need to end the episode there, unfortunately. I would definitely love to play another turn. We didn't even get to build anything in our cities. That was a very slow turn. But we are 2 turns away from hanging guard. Oh, you know what we'll do? That's what we'll do. We can't claim a wonder now, but let's figure out what we're going to claim. Stables is still available. So if we want to boost our cavalry into the stratosphere, we could still pick stables. Pyramid of the Sun is still available. Get a lot of good stuff with Pyramid of the Sun. Lighthouse is gone. So Burley has taken Lighthouse and boosted his ability on the water, which is fine to me. Lighthouse is powerful for water-based stuff, but not anything else. Mausoleum is very powerful, still available. Statue of Zeus, could be powerful. It gets you money, possibly, right? Church of Our Lady Mary Zion is really only going to be good for faith. It's a huge faith generator. So if we don't have to take this one, we don't really want it. Colossus of Rhodes is minimally good at best. It's not particularly good. Colosseum again gets you a bunch of money if you're going to war. Do any of these have anything to do with Commons Quarters? There are some wonders that have Commons Quarters bonuses, but I don't think any of them yet. So we're going to be looking at maybe Stables because we went Goths. We're going to be looking at Maz because Maz is also very nice. Maybe Pyramid of the Sun. Pyramid of the Sun is also good. +2 food on territories, districts, and exploitations is actually quite powerful and can really boost your food. It's also a holy site, right? Maz is not a holy site, but Maz will push your science pretty heavily. Pyramid of the Sun is a religious district. It counts as a holy site. And it pushes food a lot. Pyramid of the Sun is a very good wonder. So we're looking at probably Stables and Pyramid are our 2 targets, maybe. Maybe we take Pyramid first because Pyramid's pretty potent. Especially if we want to keep our religion moving. We have to get Hanging Gardens done first, right? That'll be our first goal. And we really need to decide what we're going to do with all this influence. So all of that forthcoming in the next episode. thank you so much for watching this episode. I appreciate you viewing. If you like the content, make sure you hit that thumbs up button and then you're subscribed to the channel with notifications on so you know when we release these videos. I appreciate you, and I will see you next week.